Congratulations, you've been selected for the fellowship. This was the email I received from a reputed program from the University of Toronto. I opened the email and they're paying me 75,000 Canadian dollars. On top of that, I get $10,000 more to cover all my academic expenses. Total of $85,000. Fantastic. I'll take the job. This is how I landed a paid clinical fellowship in Canada. I'm going to share the strategies I used and you can do exactly the same. And let's do this together. I am an anesthesiologist. I did my residency in anesthesia from India, from a place called PGIMER in Chandigarh. If you're from India and surrounding places, I'm sure you know about this. When I was doing this residency or PG from there, I was pretty excited to spend a year outside to do a fellowship just to see how anesthesia is done outside India, because I really wanted to get that unique experience. What's happening outside my home country? This is when I started exploring for all the available fellowships in anesthesia outside India. So my target was USA, Canada, Australia at that time. During this process, what I realized is Australia and Canada did not need any exams to apply for a fellowship except for an English proficiency exam. For the most part, the process is the same even today, and Canada requires only an English proficiency test to apply for a clinical fellowship and nothing else. They're just looking for an outstanding candidate. My interest was in pediatric anesthesia fellowship, and the place that offered this, which is very well known, is Hospital for Sick Children or Sick Kids, which is in Toronto, Canada. This is a hospital affiliated with the University of Toronto. So I prepared an application to apply to a pediatric anesthesia fellowship there. Pediatric anesthesia was highly competitive, extremely difficult to get. On the other hand, I also focused on applying for another adult anesthesia fellowship at University of Toronto, which I thought I might be eligible for this. So I received a rejection from the pediatric anesthesia fellowship just because I applied. I did not get it. I received a rejection. But I did receive a positive news from the other hospital I applied to in University of Toronto. They said, "We like your profile. We want to interview you." Fantastic. I was so excited, and they arranged a phone call interview with me. So they said, "Are you available? We want to talk to you on this date and this time." I said, "Sure, why not? Let's do this." The day comes, I'm excited. I'm also nervous at the same time. If you're in the same position, you can imagine how it is. Then I, for some reason, missed the phone call. Then I get a message saying, "The person who is supposed to interview me got busy. Are you available at a different time?" So they postponed my interview by an hour and a half. So I had more time to be stressed about this interview. Fine. I said, "That's cool." That was night time in India, morning time in Canada. Then I was waiting for the phone call. The phone rings. I pick up the phone call. I was nervous. I was speaking really fast. The feedback I received during the phone call was, "You're speaking too fast for me. Can you slow down?" I said, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize that." Then I changed my pace. I had a successful interview. Then I received an email that, "Congratulations, you've been selected for the fellowship. And here is the offer letter." I open the offer letter and I see they're offering me 75,000 Canadian dollars. Oops, that's a lot of money. Plus, they're actually giving me $10,000 more so I can spend this on academic expenses, which is what I used to do my USMLE exams for completely free. And in fact, I have a video about this in the description below. Alright, so then the paperwork starts. I receive paperwork about evaluating all my credentials, verification of all my medical education, my postgraduate degree, everything. And then the hospital helped me obtain a license from the CPSO, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario, through which I did obtain a training license. I got malpractice coverage called CMPA, Canadian Medical Protective Association. I had the paperwork for the visa. I obtained an appointment with the Canadian Embassy, and then I went there. I got my visa stamped. Pretty straightforward process. Then the time came for me to move to Canada. I was very excited. I got on the plane. It was a transit from Heathrow, and then I landed in Toronto, Canada. Interestingly, when I got my plane in India, the temperature was 25 degrees Celsius. And when I landed in Toronto, Canada on January 1st, the temperature they announced was minus 25 degrees Celsius. Initially, I thought I heard it wrong. English is not my first language. Maybe I got it wrong. Actually, it was minus 25 degrees Celsius in Toronto, Canada. The coldest I've ever experienced for the first time in my life. It was freezing. I was fine. The city was completely freezing, but thankfully, the place I was in had a centralized heating. like most places in the US and Canada, and I could stay warm there. Subsequently, I went the next day, opened a bank account, applied for a social security number, applied for insurance over the week or so, and then within a day or two, I was able to complete all my paperwork so I could start my clinical fellowship on time. They offered me a second year extension of my fellowship that I happily took. And remember, my passion was in pediatric anesthesia. I really wanted to do a fellowship, and then I applied for pediatric anesthesia. I got successful. I did complete my pediatric anesthesia fellowship training in Canada. This is exactly how the process of my clinical fellowship went through. And we have been teaching about this to many international medical graduates, quite a few of whom have been successful in obtaining positions in Canada. Are you someone interested in moving to Canada? Comment a yes or no below. If you need our assistance in finding something like this, you can always go to our website, www.imgsecrets.com, and book an appointment from there, either with me or one of our experts, and we will be more than happy to guide you. We not only guide medical doctors, but we also guide dentists and nurses. Any questions? Do post in the comments below. Take care, stay safe. I will talk to you soon.